When I went to school, because I had to start homeschooling around 6th grade, but I always loved walking up to campus because you never knew which class you were going to be in, and so you'd have to run around from bulletin board to bulletin board and try to find your name on the list and see which of your friends were in your class, and it was always so much fun, and seeing people that you hadn't seen all summer and running up and just giving them a great big hug, and everybody always looked so different, and I would always come back to the first day of school with like a completely different hair color and style, and so like sometimes I would spray funky colors in it, and they're like, what the... Allisyn, is that you?
My favorite probably was my first day of middle school. It's like you have your locker and new books, and you get to switch classes, so you get your class schedule and you meet all new people, and yeah, I love that. Oh my gosh, I was such a teacher's pet. Such a teacher's pet. Like, I was straight A's, very like, I'll do whatever.
I was a class clown. I remember bringing a fart machine to class in 4th grade. Yep, and we hid it in Christopher Dorsey's
But you might get in
desk.
trouble. Why would you do that?
The teacher was in on it, though, which was the best part. It's awesome.
Oh! I have an
Favorite teacher.
awesome teacher. Okay, her name is Mrs. Kuntz. She was my 5th grade teacher. We actually, on our trip back to LA, we got to, trip back to Indiana where I'm from, we got to have dinner with her. She's just like, you know, she tutored me, you know, our families are so close. I love my Mrs. Kuntz.
Yeah, my favorite teacher is Marsha Whitaker because she was our set teacher actually on Sunny with the Chance and So Random, and so she got to be with me through that whole experience of growing up, being getting into the Disney Channel acting. So that was so much fun, and she could always see that when I would get stressed on set and I would have lots of lines to memorize, she'd be like, hey, you know what? Let's have some creative time, and so she would let me on film days. I would get all my schoolwork done like the week before, and then on film days I would be able to have art days, and so I would just go in there and paint. And she really encouraged me, like how I just had my art show. She was the one who encouraged me to start doing a lot of artwork, and she would take me to museums all the time, and like we read Anne Frank, and then we went to like the Museum of Tolerance, and it was really awesome. And she just like definitely got really involved in my program and helped me learn a lot.
Oh my gosh,
memory.
there's so much fun school memories. Okay, well, I know we're talking about first days of school, but I think my favorite would be definitely last day of school's days. And I remember one day we were all at school, and we had taken the bus home, and it was the last day of school. And, you know, I remember our street was so quiet. I had a whole bunch of kids on my street, and all the parents are friends. And the whole street's quiet, and all those kids are walking down the street. And all of a sudden, all like the older siblings who had gotten there home earlier, and the parents like jump out, and they've got water balloons and water guns and ice cream, and it was the best last day of school ever.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think all of my favorite school memories were in 4th grade. I had a teacher called Mr. Payne, and he was the one that I brought the fart machine to class, and we would always be pulling pranks on the other kids. And we had these Chinese exchange students in our class, and one of them, his name was Suman, and he was like this really big like Asian guy, and it was always fun because Christopher Dorsey is this other really big guy, and he like knew all these wrestling moves, and so he was trying to teach our teacher Mr. Payne all these wrestling moves, and so Mr. Payne was all gung-ho about it until like Christopher took him down to the ground, and Suman was like, Suman tsunami, and he totally like got on top too, and all these kids were just like pile up, and all the kids stood up on their desks, and they're like, fight, 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 and it was awesome. We got no schoolwork done. Well, the difficult thing about being part of the acting business is that you have to go to auditions right after school. Sometimes you even need to get picked up from school early or miss a day of school if you're working or you're going to auditions. And so that was always kind of my after-school hobby, so I didn't really get to participate in that much. And when I would try to sign up for like a school play or something, I would have to miss rehearsals, and that was always a bummer, but you know, it's worth it.
Well, I got to, you know, luckily I went to a lot of like art schools, so I know that when I was in 8th grade, I was part of the musical theater program, which, you know, I was in Pippin, and I played the lead player, and I went to a high school called Loxa. It's LA County High School for the Performing Arts. I did an after-school program called D-Task, which is like this huge acting competition almost, and it was great. And we did like a whole rendition of Hairspray, and we won first place. That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, and it's really cool too because we're catching up on our years of no after-school activities by doing roller derby. And so now that we have a little bit of time off since we just finished our last season of So Random, we decided to join the team since we're not under Disney contracts anymore. It's okay if we go get beat up and bruised and die. I don't know. I mean, I've grown up in the acting business, so I guess I've always just kind of like known that I was going to become an actor. But I would go into auditions when I was little because I've been acting since I was about 4 years old. And one time in an audition, they asked me, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, either a policeman, notice I said man, not policewoman or anything, either a policeman or a banana seller. And they were like, all right, thank you for coming. And I think I booked that commercial, so...
Oh, a lot of kids when they're little, their favorite movies are like The Little Mermaid. My mom always jokes that mine was Jurassic Park. So I used to, when I was 2, my mom would play it all day, every day, and anything with dinosaurs has always fascinated me. So I wanted to be an archaeologist this was my first job I wanted to be.
Well, maybe you'll play that in a movie.
Exactly.
Who knows?
And then one day, yeah.
And maybe one day I'll be a banana seller in a movie. Who knows?
I can imagine that.
Oh, I love hashtags.
Don't
hashtags.
hate me because you hate me.
Hashtag don't hate me because you hate me.
Audrey
Hashtag
says
forever.
hashtag even, not even in text messages. She just says it in real life. So she'll say something and she'll be like, hashtag sorry, I'm not sorry. We're like, Audrey, hashtags don't work in real life. It doesn't highlight blue. It doesn't do anything. You can't click on it.
I like hashtags.
Yeah, but text speak, my friends know me that I don't really do the whole text lingo thing. I type with perfect punctuation and capitalization.
How
and,
art thou, Audrey?
I spell everything properly, and then I'll get a text back from her are you excited? And it'll have a whole bunch of extra letters, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
I really like talking in emoticons as well.
Yes, we send back and forth lots of emoticons since I just got an iPhone, and she'll just send me a whole thing of just random emoticons, like little Russian guys and the little poop symbol, and I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? Yeah, well, bullying is tough. I mean, Audrey and I, being in the public eye, we've experienced a lot of online bullying, which can be just as hurtful as in person, especially because people will say things online that they really wouldn't say to your face. And sometimes they're just trying to be funny, if they're posting mean comments on Facebook. And if it gets really mean or threatening, definitely get a parent involved and tell a teacher about it, because it's really important that stops, because that can really hurt your self-confidence. But you know what? We've had to learn, those people, they don't really mean what they're saying, and I've contacted a few people who will spew hate online, and I'll say, hey, I really don't appreciate it, and then they'll type back, oh my gosh, I love So Random, I love you on the show, and it's so awesome, I can't believe you talked to me. So sometimes they're just trying to get your attention too. People are very hungry for attention nowadays.
Exactly, that's the whole thing, is just know, no matter what anybody says, it's most important that you love yourself always. And so as long as that's okay, it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Mm-hmm.